What is going on, guys? It's your boy CJ Sports, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite team, the New York Giants. So I just got done recording kind of daily news, and now we're getting right into the New York Giants stuff, the stuff that I love talking about the absolute most. But before we start, if you haven't checked out my Twitter, I think it's sports_CJR. If it's not that, it should be in the link in the description of this video. I'm always talking about the Giants, football, and just in general, giving down, film breakdowns and everything. So go give it a follow. It's almost at 5K, so let's go get to 5K on Twitter. And yeah, let's get right into all of, not really news about the Giants, just everything that's kind of came out over the last 24, 48 hours. And then I like to kind of bring up topics, and my personal thoughts on the Giants. But kind of start off with, if you want to say news, but Fantasy Pros named rookie wide receiver Rondell Robinson is a deep sleeper in fantasy football. So that's kind of interesting to me. They drafted him in the second round, so they better use him. I'm tired of the Giants kind of wasting players that they draft early and they don't use to their full potential. Wandale, surefire hands, a little undersized, doesn't really matter to me. Don't care about undersized receivers. We have seen plenty of receivers in the past be fine being 5'10", 5'9", 5'10". I really don't care. So, but you need to get him out in space. You have two receivers where you're able to get him out in space in Kadarius Toney and now Wandale Robinson and Sterling Shepard. I think a lot of people don't think about, but Sterling Shepard is still very deadly out in open space too. You need that outside presence. You need Kenny Golladay to step up big, but with Wandale being a deep sleeper in fantasy leagues, that's interesting to me to figure out if Shep's going to play the outside. So if you're going to have Shep, Golladay, and then Wandale and Kadarius Toney in the slot, it seems like the Giants going to run a lot of spread and pass heavy offense. So I would love Wandale to go off. That would make me extremely happy to have him go off and play in the slot with Kadarius Toney and see what the Giants can do. But I'm definitely drafting Wandale in leagues. Actually, I'm not drafting. I'm waiting for him to fall to me with that last pick on the draft, and I have been grabbing in some of these sleeper drafts, and/or when the real drafts are happening, I'll also do that. More news kind of came out about Saquon Barkley. I remember a couple months ago when everyone thought we were going to trade him, especially to Houston, before the draft to go get some draft capital. But it came out that it looks like Saquon Barkley isn't going anywhere. And there is no trade speculated, going anywhere before training camp. And it looks like even week 1. So it looks like we're going to have Saquon on the squad for one more year under new offensive coordinator, yet again a new head coach, yet again even new a new GM. So I hope Saquon, if it's not in New York, hopefully he finds a home where he can end his career there. I know he wants to end his career with the Giants, but if he can't, I hope he ends it somewhere that he really wants to. He's a great talent. I feel like we've wasted a year of his talent for sure. He was injured last season, so I can't say last season, but rookie season was great. But I think there's definitely a chance in 2019 we did waste some of his talent, unfortunately. But I'm glad he's not going anywhere this offseason. I think, if we can show some growth in this offense, we may extend him. But kind of moving on to a position that we need to fix for years, and we're able, in 1 year, in one offseason, in a couple of months, Joe Shane goes, you know what? Let's go to sign a guard. It doesn't have to be an all-pro. He can just be a average league guard, and we end up getting Mark Glowinski for a 3-year, $19 million a very team-friendly deal, and is someone that's been a starter for years and with one of the best offensive line, the Indianapolis Colts. And guess who he get to work with every single day? The best guard in the league, Quentin Nelson. So now we kind of get. I hope we can bring that kind of vibe to New York. When John Feliciano's on the top of his helmet says like dirt bag or scumbag or something like that, I kind of like that for my offensive lineman. If there's someone I want to be a dirt bag or a scumbag to, it's my offensive lineman. I want them to be mean and disruptive and nasty. Hopefully, and he learned that from Quentin Nelson. I hope Mark Lewinsky brings that to New York and brings that to our young tackles and Evan Neal and Andrew Thomas. John Feliciano has it, and bring it to maybe someone in our left guard that we don't officially know who's going to be our left guard, but whoever it's going to be the weakest spot on the team. But Mark Lewinsky should really help him out and bring in that veteran leadership that we need on a team that's very young, that has very good young tackles, franchise tackles, I should say, on this team, and bring in a veteran presence who has done very well in the guard spot that's going to work in conjunction with at least Evan Neal for this upcoming couple of years. So now we really talked about the offense and all the playmakers and kind of the pieces that we have added. Now let's kind of move our focus and thoughts to the defense for a second. Here's our 3 players that can make a huge impact for the Giants that you wouldn't think that are starters, but that could make a massive impact on the Giants. If they're rotation players, in different schemes and different coverage packages or blitz packages. Whatever the case may be, I think these are 3 players that can make a massive impact. One is Quincy Roche. We were very interested in him in the draft. Weren't able to get him. I think he went to an undrafted free agent. He got released, and then he would end up becoming a New York Giant. And he was quite productive, actually, as our second pass rusher, our second, our edge rusher after when Lorenzo Carter got hurt and Shane Zimenez kind of was banged up. So Quincy Roche played pretty well. We did not, decide to extend Lorenzo Carter. He is on playing, I believe, the Atlanta Falcons, especially with Aziz and then Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't see him, of course, being a starter, but, there is situations where he is going to have to come in and play. And if you can have 3 rotational pass rushers, it makes the defense look a whole lot better, and that makes your blitz packages a whole lot meaner when you can have 3 legit pass rushers getting to the quarterback. So I think if Quincy Roche can play, he doesn't have to play like an Aziz or a Thibodeau. If he can just play like he did last season, in the back half of last season when he was with New York, he had a couple of sacks, a couple of pressures. That's all we need, really. And I think, pass rush was a big need for the Giants, and getting, able to get Thibodeau, a legit outside pass rusher with Aziz, and and then have once Roche learn from them, and then able to kind of move Roche around and figure out where his true strong suit is on this team. The second player I would say that can make a huge impact on this roster, on this defense for sure, is Darnay Holmes. His rookie year, he was big play Darnay. After when we had Logan Ryan and we got, Aaron Robinson, we kind of, why am I all of a sudden just blanking on names? I'm so good at this sometimes. But then like a Dory Jackson, and now, James Bradbury's not there anymore. Logan Ryan's not there anymore. Jabril Peppers isn't there anymore. We need someone to step up on this roster. Someone in the secondary to step up. We had a very solid roster in the secondary for sure last year. Logan Ryan, Julian Love, Jabril Peppers, Dory Jackson, James Bradbury. We had a very solid 5. 3 of the 5 of those are gone. 3 of 5 of those are gone. Jabril Peppers, Logan Ryan, and James Bradbury all gone. We have a Dory Jackson, maybe Darnay Holmes, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love. Hopefully someone can really step up in this team. I think it's Darnay Holmes. Big play Darnay can really step up. He's undersized at corner, but if he can play slot and be able to lay the hits, if he's able to, and I think he slowly, was able to, learn this, is if you're gonna play slot, you gotta hit someone. And Pat Graham's offense, if it wasn't a 3-4, it was a 4-2-5. So of course we have five defensive backs on the field. And if you're gonna play slot, you're an extension of the linebackers. You gotta hit someone, and he didn't do that very well. He was great in pass coverage. He just could not hit someone. If we're gonna run the 4-2-5 or a 3-4-4 or a 3-3-5, and he's gonna be on the field, he's gotta hit someone. I think over the last couple of years, he has worked on his tackling, his form tackling. If he does, that would be massive for the Giants to be able to have Darnay, who was a 4th-round pick, who played pretty well in New York his rookie year, but hasn't played that well since his rookie season. And they decided to, in the last year in the 3rd round, they drafted Aaron Robinson, who seems like he's gonna be the slot corner. And Darnay Holmes is not meant for the outside, so he has to win that slot job. And Aaron Robinson could play the outside. We don't know. We have no idea. But if Darnay wants to see the field and make the impact, he has to win the job first. And the last one is a rookie. So I think your mind goes right to Kayvon Thibodeau. It's not Kayvon Thibodeau, because I think you know what impact he's gonna have. I think you know the impact he's gonna have. He's gonna be around the 8 to 12 sacks. I don't think anything too crazy. He'd be somewhere around like 8 to 12 sacks in his rookie year. But someone I think that could really open some eyebrows. Micah McFadden, rookie linebacker who the Giants got, and I was ecstatic. When we got Micah McFadden. I'm gonna say it. I am going to say it. I'm gonna say it. He's a Micah Parsons type of linebacker. How dare I say that? I know. How dare I say Micah Parsons? I know all the Giants fans right now watching are pissed off that I just compared a Giants player to a Cowboys player. I get it. All the football purists, how dare you compare a rookie to one of the best defensive players in the league right now? I get it. I'm not saying he's as dominant as Micah Parsons, but the stuff that he does well is what Micah Parsons does well. And the stuff that he doesn't do well is the stuff that Micah Parsons also lacks. So he is a cheaper, I wouldn't say Walmart version, maybe like a Target version of Micah Parsons, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. Couple of notes that I have on him. He's a dominant pass rusher. And that is from the outside, and that's also playing inside linebacker. That's massive. One of the biggest issues that we had last year were those Mike blitzes. Because one, we didn't have Blake Martinez. ACL. Tay Crowder couldn't do it last year for us. Bernard McKinney couldn't do for us. Jalen Smith couldn't do that for us. Those Mike Fire blitzes. Having someone like Micah McFadden to have a Mike Fire blitz, or someone that can legit spy the quarterback, watch the quarterback, and then he sees something, he reads his keys, he sees the hip open to take off outside, boom, you take off outside. Micah McFadden does that so good. Does it so good. But the thing that he lacks the most, which is, I mean, you can argue in this league, in this day and age in football, you need to be able to have good coverage as a linebacker. I mean, you're slowly seeing the linebackers coming from these 6'3", 6'4" monsters to these 6'1" speed coverage linebackers. You got to keep up with these crazy receivers and tight ends and running backs these days. So that's the one thing he lacks. One of the biggest issues that he lacks. I hope that, a good coverage linebacker himself, Blake Martinez, is able to kind of help him and, give him keys. I couldn't say great coverage linebacker, but I mean, Blake Martinez is not as bad as people really talk about. He is a tackle machine. I think Micah McFadden could take that over for Blake Martinez once his time is up in New York. But so if we can have a massive impact of Micah McFadden rushing the passer, and we talked about Quincy Roche, imagine Micah McFadden, Quincy Roche, Kayvon Thibodeau, Azeez Ojulari able to legit rush the passer. That opens everything up. And you get Micah McFadden that can rush the passer inside or outside. So if you want, a pinch blitz, you can actually run that effectively with the D-line that you have, the inside linebacker with Micah McFadden, and a linebacker that who can cover decently with Blake Martinez. You can run that. You can legit run blitzes that Wink Martindale wants to run. You open that up with Micah McFadden, and if he can carry that over from college to the NFL, he would be a great player and a great addition for this team. And if he is that, that's why he makes my top 3 players who will make an impact that aren't starters on the Giants. Kind of on the same thing, we just turned to the defense. Let's not turn back to the offense. Last video we talked about who should start at left guard. This video is who should start at tight end. So, do we go with either the 2 veterans, Jordan Atkinson, Ricky Seals Jr., or do we go with the rookie, Daniel Bellinger? I mean, it seems like Ricky Seals Jr. and Daniel Bellinger are pretty much similar players. Ricky Seals Jr. has experience, but Daniel Bellinger has surefire hands. I think after when we tested out the Evan Ingram experience of having a tight end that can run 4.4, 4.5 speed, who's a legit wide receiver playing tight end. Now you have Daniel Bellinger. I think after that experience, I think we decided that we just want a tight end that has surefire hands. And it seems like I'm getting some, Dawson Knox vibes from Brian Dable when he's kind of explaining and seems like he's gonna use Daniel Bellinger. It sounds like it's gonna be just a Dawson Knox, a surefire guy who's not gonna he doesn't have to be the Travis Kelce of the offense where he's catching 8, 9, 10, 12 passes a game, but he's gonna get a couple of targets a game here and there, but we just need him to catch the football. If you're going to get those 2 or 3 targets and have Daniel Jones come back to you, you got to catch the football. And it seems like that's all we're looking for as tight end. We have weapons on the outside. Now when you're able to now have a tight end that has surefire hands, our offensive coordinator with Travis Kelce, our head coach, Dawson Knox, 2 cool, tight ends that you can say have surefire hands. That's kind of what we got with Daniel Bellinger. Ricky Seals Jr. kind of, he's always injured. I mean, Jordan Atkinson, I haven't seen much film on him. I know he played for the Texans, and he was able to play for the Texans for a little bit. I think we have an average tight end core. I would like Daniel Bellinger to really start, but really besides experience, Daniel Bellinger should be the starter. I think he is just an all-around better player than Ricky Seals Jr. or Jordan Atkinson. If you want experience for the first couple weeks, fine, go ahead, start Ricky Seals Jr. But if I see Jordan Atkinson playing more snaps than Daniel Bellinger, then that's when I'm going to start asking questions. Is there something wrong with Daniel Bellinger that we did not know or that we did not see from San Diego State? Because the Daniel Bellinger that I watched in San Diego State should easily be starting on the New York Giants. And the only way that he's not is Ricky Seals starting over him due to experience. Not skill level, but experience. Until Daniel Bellinger takes that job from him, they're not going to hand him that job. They paid someone else to take that job. As a rookie, you got to take that job from him. If Daniel Bellinger does not, for the first year, for the first 8 to 9 games, Ricky Seals Jr. will be the starter. He has to take that from him, and I hope he does. My personal opinion: you need to start Daniel Bellinger. You spent high draft capital on him, a 4th round pick. I don't care what anyone says. That is high draft capital. From 4 through 7 makes up almost 60% of your entire roster. So why not 4th through 7th round picks take up the majority of your roster? You only get 1 first round pick. You only get 1 second round pick. You only get 1 third round pick. If you're lucky, you get a compensatory pick, a 3rd round pick. And you can get some compensatory 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round picks. So the majority of your roster is made up of those 4th through 7th round picks. You spent a high day 3 pick on him. I expect him to be able to start week 1. And if he's not, then I'm going to start having some question marks if Daniel Bellinger is the same player that we saw at San Diego State. And the last thing I want to bring up. So after kind of talking about the defense, giving some hype, and then kind of talking about, the tight end and how I feel versus who I think they're going to go with versus how I feel should happen. Now let's kind of bring up the mood a little bit. Let's get Giants fans excited. Let's get Giants fans excited about playing football in 2022. And now we're going to talk about, and the last thing we're talking about are the 4 games where the Giants can play spoiler or make a upset in. And so 2 of them, you can kind of guess that are division teams, and 2 of them are not division teams. So we're going to start off with the first game of the season when we go down to Nashville and we go play the Tennessee Titans. I feel like the Giants can play spoilers. The one thing that the Giants has consistently done over the years, even when we have gone 2, 3, 4, 5 wins, is we can stop the run. We can stop the run. Is Robert Woods going to be healthy going into week 1 after an ACL tear? We don't know. I love when Ryan Tannehill throws the football. We don't know how Treylon Burks is going to be week 1. They got Austin Hooper. They got Derrick Henry back. If we're able to limit Derrick Henry and make Ryan Tannehill throw the ball, I feel comfortable. That means that we are doing our job as a unit. So, an upset, everything has to go right for the Giants. But if we can stop Derrick Henry and make Ryan Tannehill throw the ball to a Robert Woods or Treylon Burks, we have done our job. If they beat us with Ryan Tannehill, fine. But I do not want to get beat by Derrick Henry. And then skip 11 weeks, 12 weeks. We're going to week 12 where we play the Dallas Cowboys. This is where Daniel Jones gets his first win over Dak Prescott. This is where it happens. On the big stage, Christmas Eve. You're going to go down. You're going to go play Dallas. No, this is not Christmas Eve. This is Thanksgiving, I believe. I believe this is this is not, yeah, this is yeah, this is Thanksgiving Day. When the Giants go down, they go play Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. This is when Daniel Jones gets his first win over the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott. He needs one. Dallas is going to take a little bit of a step down, too. They're going to take a step down. Lost a couple pieces of their offensive line. Lost a weapon. Amari Cooper. We don't know how that defense is going to be. Is Michael Parsons going to be able to repeat Is Trevon Diggs going to get 10 interceptions? We don't know how that defense is really going to be. I think they outperformed a little bit. I think that defense outperformed. And when Kadarius Toney was healthy with Mike Glennon throwing, that's when Kadarius Toney really hit the scene with like 10 or 12 catches for almost 200 yards. That's how you win the game. You give the ball to Saquon, give the ball to Kadarius Toney, give the ball to your playmakers. The Giants know Dallas. Dallas knows New York. We know how to beat them. They know how to beat us. I think we grit out this win against Dallas. And I think this is when our season turns around. And this is when we can make a playoff push. Beating Dallas on Thanksgiving gives us hope. And that's what I'm looking for, is some hope. Week 17 is when we play the Indianapolis Colts. Same way we beat the Titans, it's the same way we're going to beat the Colts. You got to stop Jonathan Taylor. You have to. And you can force Matt Ryan to throw the ball, who's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill, but who I find may have less weapons. Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce. That's probably all they have. If you can force Matt Ryan to throw the ball and not let them give Jonathan Taylor stupid yards. The one thing, like we said about Derrick Henry and this Giants defense, is they can stop the run. You force Matt Ryan to throw. You force the Colts to throw the ball. That's what you want. They're able to do that. I like our chances of winning. And the game that gets us into the playoffs, our fourth game, we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. We always play the Eagles tough. They are a much better team this offseason. They got much better. If Jalen Hurts makes that step, they're going to be a team. We always split with the Eagles. This gets us in the wild card. This gets us in the playoffs. This is a must win. The reason why it's on the upsets, because it's a must win. To be able to go out there and to go 4-2 in the division, beat Washington twice, beat Dallas once, beat Philly once, go 4-2 in the division, and beat some really good teams in the Titans and Colts to make the playoffs, that's what you need to get into the postseason. And if the Giants can do that, and I think they will, those are my 4 big upsets that the Giants do. I don't think we beat the Packers in London. I think this is what happened. I don't think we beat Baltimore. I think we beat the Titans, and I think we beat the Colts, because what we do well is what they do well. What we do best is what they do best. That's how we avoid. What they do best is what we stop the best. If they run the ball, we have the best run. We have a very good run defense. And if Xavier McKinney can make that step up, he should have more than 5 interceptions this offseason. I mean, not this offseason, this season. And the teams like that like to run the ball, Eagles, Cowboys, Colts, Titans, teams that like to run the ball is where he should thrive. Because if we can stop their run and make them throw, that's where we should thrive. We should thrive. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I get passionate about talking to the Giants. I love the Giants, and I hope you guys do too. If you've enjoyed, please like the video, subscribe to this channel. I hope you guys are really enjoying all the Giants daily news content, fantasy football stuff, and once, football gets going, we're going to be doing film breakdowns and gambling videos. But guys, thank you so much for watching. It's your boy CJR Sports, and I'm out. Peace, guys.